Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the final game of Day 2 here at the Australian Division 2 Championships, hosted in the lovely city of Wollongong on the south coast of New South Wales. My name is Daniel Clinton, and today I'm joined by Hilary Humes. Hello, Hilary.
Hey, Dan, how are you going?
5 out of 7.
A 5 out of 7. What could make it a 7 out of 7? A thrilling game, perhaps?
Well, I'm not going to hold my breath. This is the best of the rest. Ironbark Red playing against Colony Rumcore. And here we go. Dowell is going to hand off in the right direction. The sniper has claimed a victim already, and that's Kai Wing Young. Nearly getting himself a grab.
That's an early injury call. Dan, I was just chatting to the Colony boys, getting some inside scoop. They weren't really giving me much. They just said they're going out there to win. What do you think we're going to get here today?
What are we going to get? Well, there's a very strong chance that Jonathan Potts is going to get the disc, and he's going to huck it to A. Dowell.
I think that's a really good prediction.
And that's not A. Dowell as in Anthony Dowell. That's A. Dowell as in either Anthony or his brother Matt. Matt, of course, the captain of Colony Rumcore. And Ironbark Red, it is perplexing to see them in this bracket. There we go. They've maintained possession somehow through a wing and a prayer. They're now on their own brick mark. They move it sideways. Maintaining possession. Sutton goes deep. And that's an uncontested strip. Looked like he had full possession of that before the
disc was willfully taken away from him.
Yeah, that's Tharian trying to claim that one. Low catch. Hammer. And again, oh my word. That's Tung.
Absolutely.
It's not Kai Wing. I thought it was Kai. The best calves in Australia is not on the field. Oh, pack forms. And that was a volleyball spike. Lucas Zoo getting the spike on. It's one of the Dowells. That's Matt Dowell. Oh, he gets hand blocked.
That's one of the most sturdiest hand blocks ever. That disc just went straight to the ground.
Seen some good hand blocks today.
Haven't you? In that previous game, there was quite a few, wasn't there?
That's Matthew Hanna now with the disc, looking down the field. Going to break inside with the left hand. Ironbark Red on offense again, finding meters through some short passes. Coming to this near side, there's a pick call and a down call. Colony Rumcore with their fair share of old blokes, so we'll expect a few calls from them today. Slow down the pace of the game and keep their breath and maybe keep up with some of the younger heads.
Look, sometimes it's actually good in these conditions when the wind is so variable. You don't know what's going to happen. You might actually want to wait to see what the wind is going to do. And taking a few seconds there, Hannah Monty walking over to the action, seeing what's happening. We might be able to get some insight from her.
Nah, she hasn't got the mic on at the moment, so we're not going to hear anything. It's problematic, really, but anyway. Contested is the call. It will return to the thrower. And it doesn't look like Hannah has her earpiece in it either, so she can't hear me heckling her. Come back, Ironbark now. Oh, and there's an outside in forehand that looks like absolute high out of hand. And is a turnover. Well, Matt Dow, coffin corner. I don't know what he's doing handling, but he's going to rip it. It looks pretty good. It's going to bounce. Tung can't get there. Short pass. Ironbark Red, another opportunity for them to go down the field. It's been a long first point thus far. Sutton goes down the field, and they're not getting much.
That disc. That was a bad option.
Oh, and Dow goes again. That one's a better one.
That's a good one. The
catch.
challenge is here, it's so windy that the players are trying to throw low so that it doesn't rise up into the wind and pick it and just blow away. But what's actually happening is you're throwing a little bit too low with too much angle on it and it just goes straight to the ground.
Seeing a replay right now. Yeah, that disc was perhaps rolling when he caught it, inverted commas. Well, Sutton's going to go back, pick it up. This has been a gross first point. Already 6 minutes in the game and no scores.
Dan, I'm just reading about Ironbark at the moment. They reign from North and Western Sydney, and their goal is just to go out there and have fun. They want to win, they're hungry for it, but they're now playing for between the 9th and 16th bracket.
They shouldn't be here. By rights, there's no way Ironbark Red should be in this bracket.
Why do you say that, Dan?
They're way too good. They're
That's
too
right.
good to be playing off potentially 9 to 16. You know, if they lose every game from here on out, they're going to come last, and they're way better than that. They're on offense. The reset is there. So it's a swing, and that's just a skill error right there.
Just couldn't control it in their hands. A bit nervous, maybe. Colony have the upper hand right on the end zone line.
I'd be nervous if I had to mark Matt Dow. I'd be nervous regardless, and he finally gets the point. He throws the high release that comes out about a foot above his mark's head, and that is our first score of the game. Colony Rumcore. Yeah, that was actually about a foot above his head.
Dan, we've got Mark Isherwood captaining the Ironbark Red team here. What do you expect to see from them?
I'd love to see Woodley impart some of his famous physicality on this Ironbark team. Some of that famous dog that Woodley is famous for. Woodley, of course, played all his ultimate for Heads of State up to this point. He lives in Sydney, works in Sydney nowadays. So providing a lot of his vast experience to fairly inexperienced Ironbark side. Lots of new players, lots of young players. Speaking of young players and experience, Tim G missing, seems to be injured. Huge loss for them not to have G out there.
What do you think that'll do to the team? Will it shake it up?
Very much so, G. Huge handling presence.
The challenge with such youthful teams when they lose an experienced player is it can really shake up the momentum of the team and really put a lot of nerves into the team. They'll be thinking about what's going to happen.
Oh, here we go. Bit of a zone. Nico Sullivan underneath it for the Rumcore. And from the back, Jake Dempsey comes flying through. There's a call on the field. And Hannah Monty is nowhere to be seen. So it looks like from what the Ironbark player is gesturing, there's a lot of shoving heading into the contest. And that is what the foul has been called on. It's Mark McLay. He's gone past the disc there. He had his shot. It's going to be retracted. And Potts immediately. He's had one attempt and he's got one throwaway. I don't fancy that percentage is going to improve much over this game. The wind is certainly not going to help him in that regard.
Do you think Potsy, being such a crucial figure in AFTA, thinks about his performance on the field and how
Not
he's
at
a leader?
He is so experienced. It's been a long time since Jonathan Potts really got worried about a game.
He's always cool, calm and collected, do you think?
Always. I don't think I've seen that man nervous ever. Okay, and that's 11 years I've been playing, well, around Ultimate, not playing for all of it. I don't think I've ever seen him get nervous in a game. I don't think nerves are ever going to be a problem for Jonathan at this point in his career. Even if he finds himself in a Masters final at Worlds, he's been there, done that so many times. Kai Wing Young with the disc, best calves in Australian Ultimate. And there's a low throw. Sullivan reaches to the end zone. What a layout grab! Wowee! We're off to a flyer. And the Rumcore are out to a 2-0 lead.
Absolute stunner right there. That was a great layout.
It was a stunner, wasn't it?
It was a stunner.
It was just very nice, very different. It's unusual. Stunning though.
Dan, you're bringing out your Kath and Kim side. I'm liking it. I'm not sure how
It's
the
just
viewers
very
are going to
nice.
like it though. But to be honest, it's not about them, is it? It's about us. Would you say that?
Those who can't do coach, those who can't coach
Those
commentate.
who cannot play commentate. Is that not right?
It'd have to be. What a layout. That's beautiful, that is. We'll put that on ESPN Top 10s.
That'll be on our daily replay.
That is very nice. Brendan Walsh, actually, player that making that that beautiful layout. Put that on the highlights. Boys and girls, you young kids that are joining in, wanting to know how you make a layout play, that's the one. If you want to know how to throw swill, look at that throw from Nick Sullivan. O'Sullivan. my bad.
O'Sullivan, media hungry O'Sullivan. Looks like the male version of the female character from Brave with beautiful auburn hair.
Flowing red locks.
Flowing red locks.
He looks like my father did in 1970. You know, the flowing red mullet.
He's just playing it up for the cameras though.
It really hasn't improved in the 40 years since my dad wore it. And Ironbark red. That's Sutton bringing it to the line. Dowell is going to put on a very, very wide mark. Sullivan goes low and the bid. Oh, the bid. Tung. He's everywhere and there's another bid.
No! And he just misses sight of the disc, drops it.
I didn't even need to see the number. I knew that was Ant Dowell. It's only Ant that can lay out backwards. Here it comes, Ironbark now. Oh, the layouts are flying. Early in this game, it's the Rumcore who won it. Oh, inside out. Bit of a nothing throw. It floats over everyone. Sandoval.
That's an incredibly lucky pass, floating over 4 players back to Ironbark.
Sandoval already the best. And he was the shortest guy there. And now they retain possession. Inside break. More break side movement doesn't come. The mark is pretty big. The Rumcore trying to hold it up. Zoo gets horizontal. I don't think he really had to, but it's good to make sure anyway. And now Dowell pumps it and goes anyway with the forehand. His brother's underneath it. And nope. Mark McLeay makes sure of it, gets the block. Sutton will pick it up for Ironbark red.
Mark McLeay coming in as backup. Always catch these guys.
Oh, that's Pie, and it's ended up in the hands of
that
Ironbark.
happen?
Big foul on the mark. Huge foul. That's okay though. It's gone straight through his hands into the breadbasket of the Ironbark player, Joe Tharian. And there is a violation call. No, there's not. We're playing on. Ironbark red, a little bit static out of the their red zone offense. Sutton's going to get it in the middle of the field. Looks, elects not to throw downfield, resets the stall, trying to create some angles. A low throw gets gathered in. McLeay goes inside out.
Too wobbly. Receiver couldn't handle it.
Too wobbly indeed.
Eric Sun streaming for the deep end. Wants it. Comes
Yeah.
back in.
He's the one that got the block and immediately cleared out. And Dowell goes. Matt Dowell sticks it. You gotta love it. Dowell to Dowell. And Dowell, he reads it, but he can't close it in. I don't think he could have got that 10 years ago, let alone now, end of day 2. Sutton just throws the disc out and then walks it back, giving himself a little bit more time.
Giving himself a little bit of a break. He knows he's in a dead zone. He's got a big challenge on his hand.
Wow, that nearly ended up in the hands of Tung. That's Tung Do, actually.
believe it's pronounced tongue dough.
Tongue dough. There you go. It's not the first name I've butchered, and it won't be the last. Dal has it, no mark. Can throw anything he wants, throws it away.
Throws exactly what he doesn't want to throw. The wind's just picked up, guys. I'm sure you can hear it. Gusts probably in the 30 kilometers per hour. It's been a challenge all day for teams. They've had to deal with winds going from right to left, left to right. How do you think it changes up the game, Dan?
Wow, it just drops the quality, doesn't it, really? It destroys everything you do at training. It destroys everything you've worked for over the last 3 months. And all of a sudden, you're back to square one. You've got to work things out, figure out what works, what doesn't, get some structures that are going to bring you success.
Dan, that's some harsh words.
Well, you tell me if I'm not being fair. Now, Dow sees his brother throwing the disc away and decides to get in on the action as well.
You're right, though. With the wind, you can't just put out what you've been training for all season. You've got to adapt to it, and the right team that can adapt will win this game.
We're talking about adaptation and plans and structures. Skill errors, cold drops are not going to win you the game. Regardless of the weather conditions, they should never happen. Ironbark red now, working out of a horizontal set. It ends up in the hands of Tarian, who takes a few steps, settles, does not throw the deep. And now the disc to this near sideline.
Great move.
Sutton mooching his way up the field. He's going to get D'd.
Get
or
it
rather,
again.
he's
Yes!
not. And Dal has macked it, waiting for the Jets to kick in. And they just don't. He never, ever had the height. And the hammer from Matt Dow falls to turf. I was giving Potsy a bit of a rub and about his completion percentage, but maybe I should have turned the blowtorch onto Matt Dow.
I believe Matt Dow's just looking up to Potsy, doing as he does.
Well, if there's a combination of the two Dows and Jonathan Potts, older and more storied in Australian Ultimate that happens to be still playing, I don't know of it.
Oh, and a fumble through the hands. Can't grab it. Back to Colony.
There's that skill error as we're talking about. Oh, and Sutton, he gets himself involved. Nice block. He'll have to pick it up. I'm working against this ranging mark of one of the Dows, Ant Dow. He centralises the disc. Ironbark red, they've really struggled offensively. Zoo gets himself a D. That's his second. And Dow to the corner. Tung Do gets the point. That's 3-0. 3 in a row for Colony Rumcore. And I think it's time for Mark Isherwood to call a timeout. Maybe. Maybe. It looks like he has. He's kind of mooching over in this direction. See the layout D by Zoo. It's pretty good. You'd be happy with that.
Dan,
yes, we do have a timeout.
Dan, 3
Yes,
points
Hillary.
in. It's been a very quick game already. What's Ironbark got to do?
Not drop the disc.
Yeah, catch the discs. That's as simple as that.
That's all I've got at this stage is skill errors that are really letting them down. Everything else has been great up to this point. You know, they're finding some movement, they're finding some throws, but if you drop the disc cold when it hits you in the hands, you're gonna have a bad time.
I think it's as simple as that.
Glad to know you agree. We'll go to a break, we'll get a drink, and we'll be back shortly. Just breaking from the timeout. Mark Isherwood, coach of Ironbark Red, very animated in the huddle. I saw demonstrations of catch like a crocodile, not like a lobster.
I think he was reiterating exactly what we had just spoken about, which is catch your discs, boys. That's all you got to do.
I remember the first time Piers Truder said that. I lost my shit for about 10 minutes. Couldn't look at anyone with a straight face. But it holds true. Catch like a crocodile, not like a lobster.
Have you heard of catch with your chin?
You actually said that at Easton's.
Yeah.
I like that one as well.
Yeah.
Watching the disc into the hands.
That's right. Watching the disc into the hands, which means you're catching with your chin. Your chin's got to be against your chest. That's all they need to do right now.
Nick O'Sullivan, flat pull. And offside is called. He looks perplexed. He hasn't seen an offside call.
Nico O'Sullivan not sure what's going on. Looking to us for clarification. We're not here to do that. We're just here to talk about the game.
Don't look at us. We don't know the rules.
Look to the game advisors. That's not us.
So they'll have a do-over. Another chance. Jonathan Potts on the line. Kai Young as well out there.
There's a mix of young and old, young and experienced on Colony, isn't there, Dan?
Old was fair. Potts north of 40 years of age now.
I wouldn't have picked it. I had no idea.
Yeah, he's over 40. Sullivan.
A seasoned Frisbee player.
Exceedingly seasoned. I believe he's played 4 Opens campaigns, which is outstanding. 16 years at the highest level in the Open competition. The list of people who have managed that many times on the Dingo squad is very, very short. Ironically, it's matched by the Dow brothers, who are both playing in this game. Throw falls to the ground. Potts is going to go pick it up. I'd imagine that he's looking for an enzyme throw here. His hammer is big, and it's pretty good in the breeze. What a throw,
Looking
Jonathan
good.
Potts. Wowee.
No fear.
He heard me talking earlier that he wasn't going to complete many passes. He's thrown 2 all game, and he's thrown 1 goal.
You know what I love? He's so suave. He's not even high-fiving his team. He's walking off. He's like, I've done my job.
I'm out, boys.
I'm done. Call it a day.
Oh, dear.
The game's not over yet, though. Ironbark could bring this back.
Come on, let's talk about the hammer, though. That's a 30, 40-yard hammer into a howling breeze.
I don't think I've seen anything like that before.
No, it's not common. That kind of throw is not common. A leading receiver as well. What? How do you lead a receiver throwing a hammer?
It's a tough thing to read as well, a hammer, because particularly with this wind, you're not sure where it's going to come down. That receiver did a really excellent job.
Oh, it's the Rumcore. They're on D now. And Ironbark still yet to find the scoreboard via the end zone. And we're already 25 minutes in this game. Feels like moments ago it started. And here comes the ball. Pretty good pull from O'Sullivan.
Wind assist.
And it's going to roll and sit deep in the end zone. That's pretty good. He'd be happy with that. And now Ironbark Red go to work on offense. Out of a vertical set. The throw is there. It pops up in the breeze, however. And O'Sullivan just tackles his immediate mark.
Takes out one of the guys thinking it's AFL. Forgets what sport he's playing for a second. And now they have to have a chat about it.
Well, it was a good hit either way. The up the line cut is there. That's going to be hard to complete. The forehand in the breeze. Blades over and dies. And now Rumcore off to the races into the end zone. Wing Young goes long. The supersized calves and quads cannot propel Young to that disc, however.
Sutton picking up the disc. What's he going to do next? I'm hoping he's just going to flog it to the end zone.
Flog it is the call.
Oh!
How has he caught that?
He practically bent the disc in half to get it.
He always knew what was going on, though. He put his hands behind his back to catch it there, and it bounced and it ended up in his lap. Okay, that was kind of special. Clearly the instructions from Isherwood have gone through to him. He's not dropping the disc. And now, O'Sullivan. Flowing red locks trailing behind him as he walks to the mark and immediately goes long, and it's a turnover. And that disc is in the shrubbery.
Ba-bow.
Have you got any pearls of wisdom for us, Hillary?
Right now?
Yes.
If I was in this
Right
handler's
now,
posi-
right
yeah,
this
yeah,
very second.
yeah, if I was in this handler's position, I'd be nervous and I'd just be sending it long. I'd just be saying, just run long and I'll just put it up. Because you need to get out of this space.
Callahan country.
Exactly, that's right. They're right in their end zone. And look, they just turned it over. Colony with another reason to score.
That's Georgievic with the disc. Disc gets tapped in. Space is completely clogged. People everywhere. Ant Dow throws a hand out. Pulls it in. There's a pick in the stack. The offensive set is mess. It's spaghetti at the moment. Are you familiar with the spaghetti stack?
Hot spaghetti, hot spaghetti. That's hot potato.
Hot potato. And it's cold spaghetti. And it is a little bit cold spaghetti. Young has caught himself this disc, and well, that's a bit of the old school Kai Wing Young there.
Is that another pick call again?
Yeah, and pretty much straight away he said contested and sent it back, but it doesn't matter if it's contested or not. It was a pick call, so it goes back regardless. Oh, there's a high release to Young and another pick call on the play. I'm not sure either of these would affect the play. It didn't look like the defender had much of a bid either time. The first one, see it, maybe there is. The second one, there's no way on the second. The first I'll give to them. The second, no way.
But here we are at the third pick call at least. Game advisor Steve Baker stepping in.
Maybe if my boxing out was incorrect, and if that's the case, then I'm happy to accept it. Yeah.
Well, I just maintained that your arm was out and kind of pushing backwards.
And you were going over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a blocking foul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Contested.
So do you think you would have made that? Made a bid at it?
And that's the
I don't think
key
I probably
question.
got there, no.
Okay.
But I called it because...
Yeah, okay. No, it's the fair call, but if you think it didn't affect the player, then the goal will stand.
Yeah, I think the goal should probably stand.
Okay.
Okay, great spirit there.
Excellent spirit there.
Outstanding spirit. We heard Steve Baker, you know, it's a fair call, but if it's not going to affect the play, then the goal should stand. And at that stage, it's onto the defending player to effectively decide whether your opponent has scored or not.
That's right, Dan. It's a tricky thing in the moment. You're filled with intensity. You've got so much excitement, and you want to get this next score on the board. In those moments, it's hard to make a rational decision, but the game of Ultimate requires you to think about all of these things. As a self-refereed sport, we must be on our feet. We must be thinking logically.
And well, Matthew Hanna, he can be happy with that. If his team isn't successful here, he has had a moment of exemplary spirit, which I think should probably be shown at coaching courses and the things like when when you're asked what is spirit, it's willingness to, effectively let the other team score. That's what it comes down to. If it means upholding the rules, you're okay with losing.
That's what we're all about here at Ultimate.
Being okay with
Sometimes-
losing.
Yeah, you gotta be sometimes, don't you? And
Well-
in the case, Ironbark Red, do you think they're okay with losing? Do you think they're hungry enough, Dan?
Well, at this stage, Colony have definitely been the ones to want it the most.
Moist.
Yeah, that's like most crossed with something else. I don't even know what. O'Sullivan pulls this one out.
This could be the good advantage that they need right now. Taking it in probably on the brick line, you would assume. We've got a side stack here from Ironbark.
I think it was a combination of most and best.
You're most and best.
Yeah, most and best.
Yeah, I like it.
Bestest and mostest. Speaking of mostest, the mostest challenge at the moment is to go down the field. Sandoval works off the Potts poach, and now the huck goes up. Tungo goes high, doesn't get there, completely losing track of the disc. The short throw now, the last metre into the end zone. Can Ironbark Red get on the scoreboard for the first time?
Look to your dump! That's it!
The stall count was
Look to
getting...
your dump! Look to your dump! Swing! Swing!
Hillary, stop cheering. You're supposed to be commentating. Sandoval looking for the reset. There's nothing downfield. The break. And there's Matthew Hanna.
It's a goal!
Matthew Hanna, rewarded for his great spirit in the previous point, ends up catching himself a goal. That's 5-1. And after a momentary lapse where Hillary decided she was going to support and cheer on Ironbark Red.
I was merely giving them a little bit of advice.
A little bit of advice.
Just, not even advice, just thoughts from a commentator who knows nothing about Frisbee.
Well, it's great to see Matthew Hanna getting rewarded for his awesome spirit in the last point, turning around, catching himself a goal. That's top-notch stuff. And now Ironbark Red, it's their first chance to go on defense. And the Rumcore, since the very first point of the game,
They've taken it away. They broke out early.
they're fighting the old men, do you think?
Absolutely not.
No?
No. What do you think we're going to hear from Mark Isherwood? If you were standing on that line there,
Just go and want it. Want the disc. Oh, and geez, that's a no. That's a no.
our other
No.
commentator, Max Stenstrom, has just been at the beach,
There's no words.
enjoying himself, I'm sure.
And
Meanwhile,
and now
Dan
we're
and I-
not. Now we're
Dan-
not.
Yeah.
After having seen that, it cannot be unseen. And Ironbark Red have brought a zone. And here goes Matt Dow. Ant Dow in the area. It falls at Ant Dow's feet. And that's a turnover.
Turnover in the worst spot yet again.
If you're an Ironbark Red supporter, that is for sure. And the gesture is come in, come shorter. Push off. The cut. It's not there.
This is
Neither's the swing.
This cutting lineup here is really interesting because it's just, one person cuts, and then if they don't get it, it's the next person in line who's going to cut.
Oh, there's a deep throw. It looks pretty good. It's flat, but the wind's going to kill it. It blades down, and there's a big play. Matt Dow, and then he turns around and hoofs the hammer back to his brother. But the wind.
The story of the day, Mother Nature bringing it all.
Well, Mother Nature watched yesterday's games and decided she wanted to take part in today's games, and certainly has. Wow, okay. Georgievic can't complete that pass. It was up and then it was down and then it was definitely down. Oh, and
That
speaking
was
of down,
definitely down.
another skill error from Ironbark Red. And speaking of skill errors, there's a one from Colony Rumcore
What's
going
next,
the other way.
Dan? You keep predicting it.
Well, to be fair to the players, it's not really their fault. Sandoval with those gloves, looking, foul. Georgievic Getting a little bit close by the looks of it.
We might be able to hear the discussion from Steve Baker.
Just marking, getting a little bit over exuberant there. A couple of marking infractions. They've agreed to step back a little bit, go back to 1.
Well, marking infractions. Too close. Disc space is the distance you should be away from the person with the frisbee when you are on the mark.
And that's everything, including your head, including your body, including your feet.
Including your head.
Including your head. Well, sometimes I find people lean in. They think about their body, but they lean in with their head.
Get their head in the way.
Get your head out of there. What are you doing?
So what you're saying is it's an advantage to have a big melon when you're on the mark.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Have you used that advantage, Dan?
I don't have a big melon. I consider my melon to be average size. Thank you.
Reasonably sized, hey?
Oh, nice deep throw.
It's a beautiful throw.
Oh, and he's caught it. Mark McGlay in a turn.
On the doorway of another score! And he gets it!
He's done it. They have done it. That's Mitchell Hanna. I think he's hurt himself in the making of that play. Wow. And just as I thought, he'd thrown it away, the receiver makes the catch. McLay, the initial grab. It just died. It fell out of the air. And then the throw. That's Derek Lau, actually. Whoa, that layout is... Well, anytime you land on your
That
neck
looks
like
painful.
that's...
Doing a 360 on your neck. I'm not sure that's the best idea right now.
No, I think instructions unclear.
Definitely unclear. It's a challenge when you're laying out. You just don't know where you're going to go. Any tips for laying out, Dan?
Commit. Just commit.
Absolutely. I think that's actually really good advice. If you're going to lay out, just do it.
The problems start when you half go, half stay
Yeah.
on your feet.
You're so right.
If you're going to bed, just go.
Just
And
go all out.
Yeah, if you lay out and you miss, you never look bad. If you don't lay out and you miss, you'll always look bad. O'Sullivan gets a paw on that, stops it. Jonathan Potts is going to call offside. So they'll send them back.
Colony looking confused. They weren't on board with Potsy. They were happy to play along.
Well, this is possibly some experience play by Jonathan Potts. We may seek some clarification from Steve Baker regarding offsides and what the deal is with multiple offsides over the course of a game, Steve.
So the defence must be completely behind the line of the goal zone, or their feet have to be behind that line when the pull is released, and the offence have to have 1 foot on the goal line when they signal ready, and they can't lift that foot up until the pull is released.
So what
that's what being
happens-
onside. If you're called offside, then the first time is just a re-pull. If you go offside again, if you do that on offence, then you still get possession, you're still on offence, but you get the disc in the middle of your end zone. And if the defence has gone offside, the offence will get the disc at the middle of the field.
Okay, thank you, Steve, for the clarification there. So possibly just a smart move there for Potsy, setting it up so that there's the potential for an advantage if Ironbark Red go offside again. He's going to get the disc though, Coffin corner. He's going to need every inch of his big throws. Oh, he goes with a dad backhand. Gets blocked by Sutton.
Strolls over, not sure where his player is. I think he needs to get onto defence now.
Jonathan Potts hasn't been very accountable on defence thus far. He's sitting on 2 throwaways, 1 assist in his 3 throws. The deep throw goes up. Sullivan reads it pretty well coming off the back of the stack. Falls to the ground. The Rumcore, they'll have an opportunity. We're already halfway through this time cap, 2-5 the score. Will we see a halftime break? Will we get to 8, do you think, Hillary?
Yeah, we will. Do you think there's one particular team who will take it though?
Oh, Sullivan puts it in the breeze. Doe can't make the play.
Good attempt though.
And now Ironbark red. They're in the red zone. A bit of a walk.
They just need to walk it in very calmly. They're doing the right thing, swinging across to the other side of the field, getting their players offside.
And now creating some angles. Ironbark red. Sutton with the frisbee. Can he have a cool head? Can he punch it the last couple of yards? The reset, a reaching down.
Too close for comfort.
Oh, and that throw is the money throw by Sutton. 5-3 the scoreline, and wow, that was some good throwing. Ironbark red still in this game. Let's see the replay. That disc just sitting up.
Beautiful. Had plenty of time for that receiver to run onto the disc, take it comfortably.
Well, either receiver could have got there in the end. The throw was so good.
That's right. Defenders streaming behind them, didn't really have a chance at the disc. That's what we need to see more of.
Throw to the break side.
Yeah. Ironbark closing in on that gap. They still need to make a few more minor adjustments, but I don't think they need to focus on too many things. I think they've found their feet now, and they just need to keep working at it.
And after a fast start, the Rum Corps looking a little bit punch drunk. 5 points in a row, and now 2 going back the other way. Matt Dow will pick it up. A zone from Ironbark red. They've had enough of this huck and play D by the men in purple. It's not going to start up Matt Dow
Sends
anyway.
it to the man in the end zone. Just can't get it. I
Well,
like those looks though. They're exciting.
Eric's son unable to pull off what would have been a miraculous layout catch. And now it's Scammell bringing it in. That lefty, rangy style that he has. Middle of the field, Ironbark red, Scammell. Down the field, Sutton. He looks to the break side, comes back to the open side. Sutton moving the disc, finding Kelvin Leung. And now the deep throw by Leung. It's so good. He's going to turn around and run backwards. It was so good. And now Ironbark red, they're in the red zone. Scammell can't get there. Leung!
No!
What a catch! He's made it up, and now he throws a lefty backhand. Is there anything that man can't do? And now they're so close, our Ironbark red. This is for 3 in a row, Leung. He's on the open side. It's all to do. Can he make the final throw? He fakes the lefty backhand, and he throws a bladey flick that gets dropped. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
Hold on, we've got a call. We've got a call. Miracle call, would you believe?
No, there's no call.
No call.
Oh, you're killing me. Leung, you can't do that to me. You can't play with my emotions like that. And well, Matt Dow's going to throw some pie that Kai Young uses all of his lengthy years of experience to read that the best, and now all the way down the other way. Colony Rum Corps are back in the red zone. Georgievic with the frisbee. Dumps to Dow. Georgievic, power position, doesn't get thrown to. The dump's there in Young. And no, the defense! Mark McLeay, he wants it. He wants it bad. Just absolute effort and gut running, getting a block. And now he backs it up with some guts. Mark McLeay showing some real heart now. Sutton, the under. He gestures. Scammell, the swing. Nice catch. There's a pick in the stack, however. And for the record, I'd like to point out that there's no 16 on the team list. And there's a few other numbers missing.
Not quite
So
accurate.
we'll do our best
team
over here.
list.
But that's okay. Scammell's going to get this one back on his own brick mark. Bit of a size mismatch against the smaller Eric's son.
Some say size doesn't matter, Dan.
You said it. You said it. I'm going to go sit down. Okay, we're done. Scowl's going to bring this in. Oh, my word. This is what happens when you commentate 2 days of Frisbee. You get a little bit loopy.
Little bit loopy.
McLeay down the sideline. And there's a deep throw. There's 2-on-2. The pack forms. He rises. He gets a block as Djordjevic. What a play there. The big man. He's got the shoulders, and right now he's putting Colony on his back and saying, giddy up, boys. Speaking of giddy up, there's a 60-yard hammer.
A hammer almost the full length of the field.
I think someone needs to call a timeout here and encourage the boys to ice it a little bit. Oh, and Sutton is not going to be able to find a receiver on that throw. It just dies and falls to the turf. So it'll be Djordjevic. He just got the block. He'll bring this in for the Rumcore. No timeout still. Leong in the lane. And there's a hammer across the field. It's going to get blocked. And there's McLeay popping up middle of the field. Scammell as well. Seen lots to the disc. Same with McLeay. They're carrying the team right now, the two boys. There's a pick call, however.
I was just about to say, that was really good movement, but it turned out that everyone had stopped for a pick.
Yeah, it's easy to get open when everyone's not
Yeah,
running.
that's right. That's the trick. Make everyone stop so you can just keep running.
Look, a unicorn. Have you ever pulled off a 747 cut?
A 747 cut?
Do you know what that is?
No, Dan, tell me.
So you pretend like the disc is up and it's flying and you're about to start chasing after it.
Yeah.
And your defender looks and tries to find the disc.
Love it. And then you just come in under.
Run the other way.
Beautiful.
I got 747 by John Greenfield one day. I felt bad. Anyway, that's another turnover. The Rumcore, they're going to get it back, and I anticipate that Matt Dow, who is walking over to get this Frisbee, is not going to mess around with this disc and is going to hurl it as far as he can. Which, knowing the dowel of the Matt variety, is a very, very long way. Yeah, he's going to air it out. Sutton's underneath it, however. He'll take possession and go fast. Scammell comes to the middle of the field. McLeay popping up again. Now Ironbark on the far side of the field finds Sutton. The reset. More movement. Ironbark red. Oh, and they're looking gassed, our Colony. And now the throw to this near sideline. They're finding some angles, Ironbark red. There's Sutton working underneath. Clearing out the handler and then coming back. Leung. He can't make the play there.
Just couldn't quite get it, but that was amazing movement with the disc. Offensively, they had lots of space.
And Dow, he pumps the hammer to get the defender to bite, opening up that forehand huck. And the receiver stopped running, not thinking that Matt Dow could throw that far.
We've seen a lot of that from Matt Dow. He picks up the disc and just hucks it. Do you think he's going to throw a short pass soon?
Not while they're playing in such a tight game, with the wind being such a strong factor. I don't think so. We spoke about it being an experienced play in the last game, playing a bit of positional ultimate. And it certainly seems to be the order of the day for the Colony Rumcore. Matt Dow has not been shy. His stat sheet is going to be a hot mess at the end of the game, but it really doesn't matter if you win. So now Derek Lau dumps to Sutton, comes near side Leung. It bounces off hands. Dow goes with a short one and fluffs it.
Turfs it straight away. Back to Ironbark red.
And well, it continues. One of the longest points we've seen. McLeay, Sutton. Sutton goes long. There's nobody there. And it continues.
Ironbark having a lot of possession this game, or this point. Their offense is looking good. They're just pushing a little bit too much. Looking for those high reward, high risk options. They're just not coming off right now.
And you're right about that, Hillary. Early in the game, they were coming off. That's what got them to that 5-0 lead. And now down the stretch, they find themselves in a 5-3 arm wrestle. There's an injury. Looked like the follow-through of the Matt Dowell Huck has collected the defender. Hopefully he's all right.
Colony subbing a player as well.
Which is the right of the other team. If one player goes off injured, the other team has the option to perform a substitute. They decide to pull off Richard. No, it's Victor. Victor, no go. Okay. Poor Victor was looking a bit gassed out there too, so probably good that he gets the opportunity to have a bit of a breather. Oh, Scammell. He's going to have to make a big play. He doesn't. Leon can't perform the greatest, and Matt Dowell, another opportunity.
Will he send it?
Yes.
What are the odds?
Well, he's either going to throw it away or throw an assist. There's not really much in between. It's a hell of a throw. Yeah, that kind of ability is not common. Matt Dowell is just phenomenal.
Phenomenal. That was actually an amazing across the field hammer. We were just calling whether, is he going to huck it? Is he going to send it? I think the question is, will he throw a hammer now?
Well, it's every second option at this stage. You see a replay, the pass that just pops up, and then Leong saving it. Sadly, we didn't include the lefty backhander that he threw immediately after. That's Georgievic making that big D. Oh, this point went on forever. Tell me a joke, Hillary.
Why are pirates called pirates?
Why are pirates called pirates? I don't know.
Because they are.
Tell me a joke, Hillary.
Tell me a joke, Dan. What's your go-to dad joke, Dan?
Go-to. What do you call a man on your doorstep?
What do you call a man on your doorstep?
Matt. What do you call a man in a hole?
What do you call a man in a hole?
Phil. What do you call a man with a shovel?
Doug?
What do you call a man without a shovel? Douglas.
Oh, good one.
Man up a tree? Russell. Lady in the distance? Dot. Man in the sea? Bob. Lady in the breeze? Gail.
And we're back.
These are the jokes, ladies and gentlemen. They don't get any better. Scammell can't get that under control. That's going to sit a long way back. He says it rolled over the end zone line, so Potts is going to play on the mark. Best of luck. Oh, and Sutton!
And another hammer! That's what we want to see. It floats out on the right side of the field.
Yeah, I know.
Not ideal.
We saw Potts do it. We saw Dowell do it. Sutton says, hey, I want to try my hand, but Sutton possibly not of the same throwing class as the two elder statesmen. Oh, fast movement like that. Pick call in the stack. Now, Nick O'Sullivan is the red head. I'm not sure who the man with the disc is. He's wearing the 17 shorts, but that's not right.
I believe that's...
Stephen Rochow?
It could be. Could well and truly be.
Could well and truly be. We'll find out in a moment. Because I'm sure he'll pivot onto the forehand side. Number 25, whoever that is, Scammell, gets himself a block. It is Rochow. Sutton. Nice backhand down the field. Bit of a walk into the throw. It's a high one. Can he get it? Ooh. It spanners a little bit. He brings it down. Dean Sparrow with the score. And that brings us to 6-4 at 56 minutes.
Teetered with our nerves just there. We almost thought he had a drop. Brings it back in.
Well, maybe Mark Isherwood has threatened them with Biff.
Tharian with the assist.
And the threat of the Mark Isherwood biff is what is put the fear of God into Ironbark Red. They feels like they haven't really dropped the pass since Isherwood had called that timeout and demonstrated catch like a crocodile, not like a lobster. I've got another joke for you.
Please, entertain us.
What do you call a man in the toilet?
What do you call a man in the toilet?
John.
There you have it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Clinton. Everyone's a comedian.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
I can tell you, I'm certainly not.
Well, what is not a joke is this wind.
This joke is... this wind. She's not playing with us. She's here to stay.
That's for Chow. Getting down, Pottsy. Jonathan Potts saw Matt down on the near sideline and threw it to space. That's a turnover. So, Jonathan Potts, 4 throws, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. And wow, it's a tall line out there. It's both the Dow's and Potts at the moment. Scammell, he's been carrying a lot of the handler duties for Ironbark Red. Leung goes back to Scammell. Scammell goes inside out. McLay has been carrying a lion's share even of the workload of the downfield cutters. Ironbark Red, they're finding some gaps. Tarian to McLay, back to Scammell. Leung goes outside in, it's out there.
Go!
It was there to be caught, but caught it is not. Tom Kennedy. Tarian will go onto the mark. Potts is going to go with a hammer to one of the Dows. It nearly kills him. Sandow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you had a coin for every time Jonathan Potts threw a hammer or a deep throw to one of the Dow boys, you'd be very rich indeed. Today has been no different. Leung is going to go pick it up for Ironbark Red. They're going to go back on offense, and he's going to stick it into the ground.
Straight into the ground. Turfed it straight away.
Not really a high percentage option, that one. The zone is called by Isherwood from the sideline. Potts says, Leah, we're not going to worry about that. Dow rises.
Oh!
He's still got the hops, the old guy. He finds his brother for the score. And that is 7-4.
The most casual throw. Grabs that ball, grabs the disc nice and high, right on the end zone line. Looks up, sees his bro, says, hey mate, do you want this? All right, here you go.
Front position as well. Makes up his ground, completes the pass. Rumcore with the opportunity to take half now if they get the turn and the conversion. 7-4 the score line.
Dan, this is a crucial moment for Ironbark. When a team takes half, the momentum changes, particularly with such a big lead. You really have to be focusing. This is almost the most important point, second to the last point of the game. I don't know what I would be doing differently. Would you have any words of advice for Ironbark?
Well, this game has all been about the big throws of Colony. The Rumcore have not wanted to play offense with their disc in their own half. They've always wanted to look to get the disc down the field. It's really about what Ironbark can do in terms of stringing together passes. O'Sullivan, his pulls have been 50-50, and that's 50 out. And it will be Leung that's going to bring this in on the brick mark, I would believe. And a side stack now. Ironbark Red throwing a bit of a different wrinkle. And it's a very, very wide side stack. There is a lot of space in the middle of the field. McLay gestures, and he goes immediately. Leung, he gets everyone biting on that deep throw. And now the deep throw goes. It took a long time, and Dowell is in the area. He's going to make the block. There is a foul on the throw. So it'll come back to Ben Allen.
Ironbark need to capitalise on this moment. They've got the disc back. They need to work it through safely, compose themselves. I don't want to see them huck it here. As thrilling as it is, it hasn't worked for them in the past. They have the handler movements. They can do it.
So Walsh dumps to Sutton. Sutton goes with a hammer. He's seen it. Leung. Ooh.
That was very close. Could he have gotten that?
No.
The opportunity was there.
I'm encouraged by the fact that Sutton is not scared to throw that hammer, but he just doesn't have the raw talent of one of the Dowells or Jonathan Potts, unfortunately. He's just not able to throw a leading hammer. I mean, he joins the 98% of the population, the Frisbee playing population, that can't make that throw. O'Sullivan, a nice catch there. Kai Young, best cows in Australian Ultimate, and he goes to the fat side. Dowell hits the deck.
Ironbark get another chance at glory, aiming to close this gap.
As you mentioned, this conversion crucial here at this stage of the game. 7-5, keeping it the play in this half. Sutton is going to pick it up. Sandoval goes, and Sutton goes outside in. It's pretty good. O'Sullivan reads it. It bounces off his hands. Sullivan goes fast. He picks it up and goes with an inside-out flick that's only going to the beach. The Frisbee wants to swim.
The Frisbee wants to swim. Sullivan apologising to his team, knowing full well what that meant.
He knows what he's done.
He knows what he's
He's
done.
going to put himself in the naughty corner.
Yeah. He has to work back to getting the disc.
That disc was nearly in the ditch on the full.
I was talking earlier to another player who was saying that when you turn over a disc, particularly when you're a handler, it's a really hard moment, but the best thing you can do is to get your mind into the defense set.
Uh-oh. Sutton again with the hammer. He's going to watch this back and wonder what he was thinking, because I certainly can't explain it. Oh, and there's a pretty good throw. There's a pretty good D.
That was a close D. Almost one of the ones where you would say, catch your Ds, guys. You never know what's going to happen with the disc.
Well, it nearly ended it up in Colony's possession. McLay, and he's going to huck it. He wants to get in on the throwing action and gets in on the throwaway action instead. And
do you think the call is 1-2 huck? Because that's what we're seeing a lot of.
well, it must be. Sullivan hasn't had much luck with disc in hand thus far. But the game is still young. There's still 15 minutes to play, and Rumcore only need one more. Young shows no fear and puts it up again. One of the Dowells is there. He rises above and does what he's done for the last 15 years. Drops the hook on 2 or 3 Ironbark Red players. Doe dumps to O'Sullivan. Looks, doesn't find it. Still looks, and there's a pick in the stack. The Rumcore, only 10 yards to travel now.
Disc on a high stall count. They're going to have to dish this off pretty soon.
It's going to be a hard throw. The wind coming from Nick O'Sullivan's left shoulder. He breaks. Low backhand. Kai Young catches the score, and that is halftime. 8-4 the scoreline here, and this opens Ninals bracket. The Rumcore leading their fellow Sydney side, Ironbark Red. We'll be back after a short break and some ads.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Give me reasons to doubt, try to keep me down, but I'll put the flame out, you can't get to me. Throw your sticks and your stones, go break all of my bones. You won't ache my soul, you can't get to me. And there is no barricade that I can tear away. Shoot me down, but fire away, away. But I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight.
Welcome back. Coming out of half-time, we did hear the hooter go. However, we have 10 more minutes to play yet on the game clock. We'll get clarification from Steve Baker, head game advisor, as to what the timing is at the moment. As Jonathan Potts about to pull. Outside in.
Our clock's about 6 minutes behind the main central clock.
Well, there it is. So we've still got 6 minutes to play yet. Still
6
plenty,
minutes to turn the game around for Ironbark, really.
Still plenty of time for Jonathan Potts to skew his stat sheet one way or the other in terms of assists or throwaways. And Leung's going to bring this in. And Ironbark Red, you had a chance to listen in. I saw you eavesdropping on Mark Isherwood and his boys over there.
That's right, Dan. I really wanted to get the inside scoop onto what they're thinking about, what they're going to change up. And in all fairness, they were saying exactly what I would have given them. The advice that I would have said is just move it through your handlers, do those short passes. Don't huck it long. It's not coming off, and they know that. All they want to do is do 1-2 between their handlers. They're watching as Colony step off the dump. They're still in it. They're still hungry for the disc. They just need to polish up their act, essentially. Compose themselves.
We saw Isherwood get very, very animated. What was he saying when he was pretty much yelling at the Ironbark kids?
That's top secret information, Dan. I can't pass that on. It's a trade secret, really. But all I can say is the team's still in it. Ironbark, they've got it. And when you've got O'Sullivan throwing it away like that, you never know what's going to happen.
It's a favourite term of yours, isn't it? That you never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen. On the other hand, in contrast, speaking with O'Sullivan before, asking him what his team's thinking, they're just going to huck it.
Well, Sandoval finds himself in the end zone. The Rumcore defense at 6s and 7s. And that's a goal. Ironbark out of half, take the next immediate point to make it 8-5 in this game. And this is to decide whether they end up in the 15 to, well, actually it probably is more than that because there's 24 men's teams here. So we're probably looking at a 17 to 24 placing, as opposed to a somewhere in the 9 to 16 bracket.
That's right. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a lot of teams here today, and thank you for Destination Wollongong for putting us up. Beautiful fields. We love Wollongong. We just wish the wind would die down a little bit. It might change up the game. We might see a different style from Colony. They're just putting up hucks.
We're getting dive bombed here by some flying beach rats. They're struggling with the wind as well. I think they're trying to get inland, and they haven't made much progress in the last half an hour. They started at about the ditch, and they've finally made their way over the camera.
Ironbark came out strong after that half. They now need to close this gap. There's only 3 in it. They can still do it. They've got, what, 4 minutes left now, Dan? Do you think it's possible?
No. I think this game's over for the Crying. There's no way Jonathan Potts lets his team lose this.
There's no way Jonathan Potts doesn't huck this, that's for sure.
Well, he's hucking it to Andal, and well, there's...
Oh! Did he toy the line? Did he? His teammates are calling it in.
Of course he did.
Ironbark is shaking their head. They're not sure.
Come on, it's a foregone conclusion. He kept that in. Look at it. Inspector Gadget. I mean, excuse me for not getting excited, but, you know, come on. Andal, deep throw from Potts. I've read this book before.
Dan, we're watching Premier Frisbee here.
I've read this book before,
we're just
Hillary.
Watching the replay. That was actually really well timed from Andal. He brought down his left foot first.
I'm pretty sure Matt Dowell had his hands in the air before he'd even come down. Okay, maybe he didn't. All right. I thought Matt Dowell was calling it in before it was actually in, but turns out he did actually wait to see if Andal did get a foot inbound. So that's the result there, 9-5 the score. Only a few more minutes to play before time cap. And Ironbark, their chance at a no point. See McLay being escorted off the field by Sutton. McLay has had an outstanding day. He should be proud of himself, the young man he is. Been an absolute beast, running both ways on defense and offense. A reliable cutter. He has a bright future ahead of him, that young man. And Ironbark now on offense. Scammell, Leung with the frisbee. Elects not to throw the deep. Comes under Tatarian. Quick movement, Sandoval with the gloves. The golfing gloves. Underneath, Scammell has separation from O'Sullivan. And the separation between the disc and the ground disappears. That's a turnover. Now we have it on very, very exceedingly reliable information, Hillary, that the wind is neither onshore nor offshore. It is bouncing off the escarpment behind us and circling back out to sea.
Is that so?
Apparently.
Who's your...
Hannah Monty. She had a very straight face when she said that to me. And I mean, would Hannah Monty ever lie?
I don't think so.
She just seems like a genuine soul.
Hannah Monty is the most reliable game advisor, player, and weather reporter now. She's a woman of many talents.
Yep. And great smile as well. O'Sullivan in a competition with Matt Dow as to how many throwaways he can achieve in one game. And Dow
That's right, Dan.
helps him out.
It's a big prize to win there. How many discs can you turf?
O'Sullivan goes with the around, a low release, air bouncing backhand that gets blocked and caught anyway. Oh my word. All of a sudden it's turning on and Andal scores the point. I believe time cap went in that point. So that will make it a game to 11. And wow, a little bit indicative of Ironbark Red's game. He got a big piece of that, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Ben Allen. And the flip. Stephen Rochow making the catch.
Big bid for the disc, just couldn't get it. I think he got his fingertips on it, wasn't enough to set it off course.
Well, I heard it from here, so he must have got a reasonable piece of it for the sound to echo over to us. And the sun is disappearing at a great rate of knots. So in the twilight of day 2 here at the Australian Ultimate Division 2 Championships, we're in Wollongong, lovely Wollongong. If you ever find yourself in Sydney, do yourself a favour, head an hour and a bit south, come and visit Wollongong.
Beautiful Wollongong. Beautiful fields to play frisbee on. Dan, we've
Yes,
seen...
Hillary.
Dan! 2 days of frisbee in. We've got one more day to go. The wind, it's not stopping. It doesn't seem to ease up. Have you learned anything from these teams and what they've been doing differently to capitalise on these different type of conditions?
Well, in a broad sense, not really, as it's coming down to individual skill. And in a micro sense, it's coming down to just the story of the game. Potts with the leading hammer. And Matt Dowell's body language there. The body language was, come on, bro, seriously? Do you want me to get to that? What the hell? And there's a turnover, a skill error. Wow, wouldn't that cap the game? If the Rumcore go in here, this is all it. O'Sullivan, a low throw, one of the Dows. They've done it. Rumcore have done it. So they advance. Ironbark Red have had a terrible tournament. And it's official now. Their result is going to be nowhere near what they had hoped for. And Rumcore go on to bigger and better things yet to see. Hillary, closing thoughts before we pack up and go get curry.
My final thought is crossfield hammers, they can come off upwind.
But only if you're a Dow or a Potts.
Or a Potts. Dow or Potts. Thanks, guys. Thank you to Destination Wollongong and to Hills Ultimate for hosting the tournament. I've been Hillary Humes. You've been Dan. And we're out.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That is a bit of gear right there. I don't know. Budgie Smuggers used to be a thing, but I don't think they can ever be a thing again. We'd also like to thank Steve Baker and Hannah Monty, our wonderful game advisors.